A regular bus ride becomes extraordinary when Snoop Dogg steps up to defend a single mom from her son's disrespect. His raw, emotional plea for gratitude and respect is a lesson for the ages, proving heroes can come from anywhere. Don't miss this inspiring moment. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories that uplift. It was one of those picture-perfect sunny mornings in Los Angeles, the kind where the city seemed to glow under the warmth of the Californian sun. The air was crisp with a faint breeze carrying the scent of blooming jasmine and freshly brewed coffee from a nearby cafe. Snoop Dogg, dressed incognito in a hoodie, sunglasses, and a pair of nondescript sneakers, stood at the corner of Crenshaw Boulevard, waiting for the number 57 bus. For years, he'd been chauffeured in luxury cars or flown across the world in private jets. But today, he felt like reconnecting with the streets, with the people. The world had been moving too fast, and he wanted to slow down, to savor the simplicity of an ordinary day. The bus screeched to a halt in front of him, its worn-out exterior covered in faded advertisements and streaks of grime. The doors groaned open, revealing a grizzled bus driver who looked like he'd seen it all. His cap was tilted slightly to the side, and his uniform shirt was wrinkled but clean. Snoop gave him a nod as he stepped on board, tossing a few coins into the fare box. The driver, recognizing him but playing it cool, nodded back with a knowing grin. The interior of the bus smelled faintly of rubber and disinfectant, with seats upholstered in a garish, outdated pattern that had seen better days. Snoop slid into a seat near the back, propping his feet up casually on the metal bar in front of him. As the bus lumbered down the street, he felt the rhythmic vibrations of the engine beneath his feet, a soothing backdrop to the chatter of passengers and the occasional honk from impatient drivers outside. He pulled his hoodie tighter over his head, enjoying the anonymity, the chance to be just another face in the crowd. The peaceful ride didn't last long. About halfway through the route, a commotion erupted near the front of the bus. A young man, no older than 16, was arguing loudly with his mother. "Shut up and stop talking to me," the boy snapped, his voice sharp and cutting. Gasps rippled through the passengers. Snoop sat up straighter, his attention drawn to the scene unfolding. His mother's face tightened, her knuckles whitening as she gripped her purse. "Son, I'm doing the best I can. It's already hard for us as it is. You don't understand." The boy shrugged. "What's there to understand? You're just being annoying." His mother's eyes watered. "Annoying? I'm just trying to be a good parent." The teenager's voice grew louder. "Well, maybe if you didn't treat me like a kid all the time, I'd actually want to talk to your slow ass. So quit acting like a bitch." "Don't you dare call me out my name, young man," she warned, her voice shaking with emotion. "I am your mother." The words hung in the air like a slap, a raw venom in his tone shocking everyone on the bus. His mother's shoulders sagged, and tears began streaming down her face. She turned her head away, her chest heaving with silent sobs. She clutched her purse tightly to her chest, as if it could shield her from the pain of her son's words. The other passengers began to look over, their expressions a mix of disapproval and sympathy. The bus driver glanced in the rearview mirror, his expression a mix of pity and helplessness. Other passengers murmured uneasily, unsure whether to intervene. Snoop Dogg, who had been watching silently up until this point, exhaled deeply and rose from his seat. His normally laid-back demeanor was replaced with a steely determination as he strode toward the front of the bus. He pulled his sunglasses down slightly, his sharp eyes locking onto the teen. "All right, that's enough," Snoop said, his voice low but laced with authority. The bus fell silent, all eyes turning to him. "Who you talking to like that?" said Snoop Dogg, the legendary rapper, his laid-back demeanor replaced by a stern look of disapproval. The teenager's eyes widened in shock as he realized who had just called him out. Everyone's attention now on the unexpected intervention. Snoop's patience was wearing thin, and he could feel the heat of anger rising in his chest. Man, you lucky your mom is present, 'cause I would smack some fire out of you for talking like that, homeboy. I ain't playing. I can't stand to see disrespect like that, especially to the one person who'll go to the ends of the earth for you. Why you mad anyway? 'Cause she's the only one in your life who's willing to tell you the truth. The boy glared at him, his defiance faltering under Snoop's intense gaze. You don't know me. You don't know what it's like. You're right, Snoop said, stepping closer. I don't know you, but I know her. He pointed at the boy's mother, who was wiping her tears with trembling hands. I know she's been busting her ass to make sure you got food on the table, clothes on your back, and a roof over your head. And this is how you repay her? The boy shifted uncomfortably, but Snoop wasn't done. You think you're tough, huh? Tough ain't about raising your voice at your mom. Tough is about standing up for her, respecting her, protecting her, and making her proud. Tough is about being a man, even when it ain't easy. Snoop took a deep breath, his tone softening slightly. Look, man, I get it. Life ain't always fair. But your mom? She's on your team. She's been fighting for you since day one, and she ain't ever gonna stop. So don't you dare push her away. One day, you're gonna wish you could take back words. Trust me. Snoop's voice wavered for a moment as he paused, the weight of his own memories pressing down on him. He straightened up and let out a slow breath. Then, crouching down to the boy's eye level, Snoop locked eyes with him, making sure his words would hit home. Listen to me. Young blood, he said, his tone firm but layered with understanding. I'm not above you, and I'm not trying to talk down to you. His gaze softened slightly, though his intensity didn't waver. When I was your age, I didn't have someone to pull me aside and tell me what I'm telling you now. But I'm here, and I'm saying it because I want you to be better. For her, he gestured toward the boy's mom, and for yourself. Man, if I could go back and tell my mom how much she meant to me, I'd do it in a heartbeat. His voice cracked slightly, betraying the depth of emotion he was fighting to keep in check. He paused, swallowing hard, and looked away for a moment, as if steadying himself. When he spoke again, his tone was quieter, more raw. I'd give anything to hear her voice again, to hold her hand, to say I love you just one more time, to tell her how much I appreciate her for all the times she stayed up late worrying about me, for all the times she forgave me when I didn't deserve it. She gave me everything, man, and I didn't even realize how much until she was gone. His eyes glistened behind his sunglasses, and for a brief moment, a confident icon of hip-hop seemed vulnerable, deeply human. My mom, she was my rock. She was my anchor, my biggest fan, and the reason I kept pushing when things got tough. She raised me and gave me the strength to be who I am today. But I didn't always see it. I didn't always tell her what she meant to me. Now she's gone, and I can't. You see, it ain't your girlfriend or your best friend that's gonna be there for you. When life gets real hard, they might love you in their own way, but they'll never hold you down like your mom will. She be the one to stick by you no matter how much you mess up, no matter how far you fall. So don't take her for granted, young blood. Don't make the mistake of thinking anyone else in your life will love you as fiercely, as deeply, or as unconditionally as your mom does. Because when you lose her, you lose the one person who'll always have your back, no matter what. The bus stayed silent, every passenger hanging on to his words. Snoop turned back to the boy, his voice steady again. Don't wait until it's too late. Your mom's here now, and she loves you unconditionally. That's something you can't put a price on. The boy's bravado began to crumble, his lips trembling as he avoided eye contact. The mother looked up, her face a mixture of gratitude and heartbreak. The boy finally looked at his mother, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. I didn't mean it, he muttered. I'm sorry. I love you, Mom. His mother reached out and took his hand, squeezing it tightly. I forgive you, baby, she whispered, I love you too. I just want the best for you." Snoop nodded approvingly. "That's a start. Keep working on it. Your mom deserves your best, just like she's given you hers." He paused, studying the boy for a moment before continuing, his tone more thoughtful. "What's your name, young blood?" he asked, his voice steady but firm. The boy replies, glancing at his mom and then back at Snoop. "Jose," he finally muttered, his voice quieter now. Snoop nodded, and before he could speak, Jose blurted out, "I know who you are. You're Snoop Dogg." His voice was tinged with disbelief, his tough demeanor cracking as the reality of the moment sank in. Snoop smirked, tilting his head slightly. "You knew all along, huh? Thought you were gonna play it cool?" Jose shrugged. "I just didn't think someone like you would care about someone like me." Snoop's expression softened, his voice firm but understanding. "Listen, Jose, I'm here because I've been there, thinking nobody cares, trying to act like I don't care either. But let me tell you something. I see you. I see the potential you've got. And I ain't gonna let you waste it by disrespecting the one person who's been in your corner since day one." Jose's eyes dropped to the floor, his tough act completely gone. Snoop placed a hand on his shoulder. "This ain't about me, man. This is about you and your mom. So let's talk. Listen, man, I know it ain't easy growing up without a father figure around. So here's what I'm gonna do. If you ever need someone to talk to, someone to steer you straight, I'll be there for you. Here," he said, reaching into his pocket and pulling out his phone. "Let's exchange numbers." Jose's eyes widened in surprise. "For real?" he asked hesitantly, as if not quite believing it. "Yeah, for real," Snoop replied, his tone firm but warm. "Sometimes you just need someone to help you see things clear. And if you need that, hit me up. Don't even think twice." The two exchanged numbers, and Snoop placed a hand on Jose's shoulder again. "You got potential, kid. Don't waste it. Make your mom proud. And remember, you're not alone in this. You've got people who care." Snoop then turned to the mother. "You're stronger than you know," he said. "Keep holding it down. And don't ever forget, you're raising a good kid. He just needs a little guidance." Snoop reached into his pocket and pulled out a thick wad of cash. Handing it to the mother, he said, "Here. Maybe you can buy yourself a car or something. Make things a little easier on you." The mother's eyes widened, and she hesitated. "I can't take this," she stammered, overwhelmed. "Yes, you can," Snoop said firmly, pressing the money into her hands. "You deserve it. You've been holding it down, and this ain't charity, it's respect. Take it, and don't let nobody tell you you don't deserve a break." The mother's eyes brimmed with tears as she clutched the cash in her trembling hands. She looked up at Snoop, her voice breaking with emotion. "You didn't have to do this," she said, her words barely audible. The mother wiped her tears, her gratitude spilling over in her words. "But you showed up, a stranger who didn't owe me or Jose anything, and stepped in like you were meant to. And I can't thank you enough. I'll never forget this. You're a blessing." Snoop shook his head, his tone warm but firm. "Nah, you've been doing everything you can for your boy, for your family. You're the one out here grinding, making it work. All I did was remind him what he already has, a strong mom who's got his back. You keep doing what you're doing. You're raising a man, and that's no small thing." As Snoop finished his heartfelt words, the bus erupted into applause. Passengers clapped and cheered, their faces lighting up with joy at witnessing such a transformative moment. Strangers who had been quietly watching now shared smiles and nodded at each other, moved by what they had just seen. One older woman near the front wiped away a tear and called out, "God bless you, Snoop. This world needs more people like you." Others chimed in with their own praise, their voices filling the bus with warmth and admiration. Jose looked around, slightly overwhelmed by the support, but also deeply moved. He glanced at his mom, who was smiling through her tears, and then back at Snoop. The moment of reconciliation, paired with Snoop's inspiring words and kind gesture, had touched everyone aboard. It was a reminder of the power of kindness, respect, and second chances. And for that moment, the bus felt like a community united in celebration of something good. Snoop tipped his head in acknowledgement and stepped off the bus, the sunshine hitting his face as he pulled his hoodie back up. Walking down the street, he felt a sense of peace. Over time, he kept his word, checking in on Jose and his mom from time to time. He'd call him to ask about school, offering advice when the boy felt overwhelmed and encouragement when he needed it most. With Snoop's guidance and his mother's unwavering love, Jose turned his life around. He began to focus on his studies, realizing the potential that both his mom and Snoop had seen in him. The boy who once yelled on a bus and spoke words of anger to his mother grew into a young man with purpose and respect. A few years later, Jose graduated from high school. His mom's tears on that day were of joy and pride as she watched him cross the stage to receive his diploma. Snoop was there too, clapping and cheering as if Jose were one of his own. After the ceremony, Jose walked up to Snoop, the same mixture of awe and gratitude he'd felt years ago on the bus, now evident in his eyes. "Hey, Snoop," his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I just want to thank you. That day on the bus changed my life." Snoop raised an eyebrow, a small grin forming on his face. "Oh yeah? Tell me about it, young blood." Jose nodded. "When you called me out, it opened my eyes. I didn't realize how far I'd gone down the wrong path. I was so caught up in the streets, trying to impress the wrong people, doing things I knew my mom wouldn't be proud of. I was disrespecting the one person who's always been there for me. But you made me see it. You made me realize I was throwing away my future." Snoop's expression softened as Jose continued. "After that, I started cutting ties with the bad influences. I focused on school and helping my mom instead of blaming her. You showed me what it means to be a man, to step up, to respect the people who care about you, and to take responsibility. If it weren't for you, I don't know where I'd be. Young blood, you're the one who did the work. I just gave you the push. But seeing you here today, that's all you, man. You should be proud of yourself." Jose smiled, his gratitude evident. "I am, but I wouldn't be here without you." Snoop grinned and pulled him in for a brief hug. "You're gonna do great things, kid. Just keep that same energy. And don't forget to keep making your mom proud." Later that day, Snoop decided to surprise Jose with something special to celebrate his graduation. With the help of Jose's mom, Snoop organized a massive party and invited not just Jose's family, but his entire high school. The party was set up at a local community center, decked out with decorations, music, and a buffet of food that Snoop personally arranged. When Jose walked in, he was stunned to see the crowd waiting for him. His classmates, friends, and family cheered, and his mom stood at the front, beaming with pride. Jose, overwhelmed, could barely find the words. "Thank you," he said, his voice cracking. "I never thought I'd have someone like you in my corner. You've done more for me than I can ever repay." The crowd erupted into applause. Jose's friends couldn't believe their eyes. "Yo, is Snoop really your boy?" one of them asked, still in shock. Jose just smiled, his confidence shining through. "Yeah," he said simply, "he's family." The party was a night to remember, with everyone celebrating Jose's success and the incredible journey that brought him there. Snoop's gesture wasn't just about the party. It was about reminding Jose and everyone in the room that with the right support, anything is possible. But the story didn't stop there. Jose earned a scholarship to a community college, the first step toward his dream of becoming an engineer. Each milestone was a testament to the power of a mother's love, the influence of a helping hand, and the strength Jose found within himself. Snoop often reflected on that day on the bus, grateful he had stepped up when it mattered. Watching Jose flourish was a reminder that even small moments of guidance could spark a lifetime of change. And for Jose, those moments became the foundation of a brighter future, a future his mother always believed he could achieve.